we're back with another episode of TPI and Company as Jason and Jacob are back with us again this week as we have a very special guest that's come into our TPI and Company World Headquarters. So we'll let the two fellas introduce our guest and we'll explain a little bit why he's here. So fellas, take it away.
Okay, this is Tyson,
All
the
right.
coach of the little kids doing basketball, of course.
Yeah, one of the things he does, and we'll get into the rest of that in a little bit, but this is Tyson, one of our Special Olympic coaches. So, first of all, thanks for coming and stopping by and talking to us. And two guys have come up with a few questions they just wanted to ask you, Tyson. So, we'll let these two take it away.
All right.
Okay.
Who's first?
What job you coaching with the little kids doing basketball?
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, I got involved with Special Olympics. To tell the story about it is, I graduated, went to high school with Nick Den, who's one of the athletes, and his mom came to me one day at church because we go to church together and said, "Hey, they're doing this unified softball. What do you think about playing?" So I played, and I went there, and I got put on Celia's team, the coordinator of the Special Olympics, and because she was busy with a lot of other stuff, I kind of helped out doing some coaching and helped her, with that team. And I enjoyed it. So I said something to Sandy about that I enjoyed coaching. And she said, well, there's a lot of other sports that they have. Maybe you could help. So I said something to Celia, and I started out with flag football that year and helped out with that. And then I helped out with basketball and swimming. I'd only ever been an assistant coach. I also did track that year. And this year, Celia came to me and said, hey, our guy that we had that did the school age coaching for basketball wasn't going to do it this year. And she's like, I thought of you because you're involved with a lot of sports. You're someone I know is going to show up and I can trust to be there. And you do a good job. What do you think? So I said, yeah. So that was my first head coaching experience with Special Olympics. And I think it went pretty well. We didn't win many games, but a lot of these kids had never played basketball before. They had never done any sports with Special Olympics before. Most of them didn't know who I was. So it took a while for us to get integrated and them to trust me and stuff like that. I had some good assistant coaches. Coach Anaya, Coach McGinn helped out. There was another girl from Delta that came and helped us out. So we had a good group of people. But I think ultimately the kids improved and got better as the season went on. We did end up winning the game toward the end of the year, and then we were closer. So I think that was a success. That's just one of many sports that I'm involved with the Special Olympics.
How did you get involved with Special Olympics?
Like I said, through Dens and knowing each other our whole lives. We went to school together, graduated together, and then his mom said something, and I just said something silly about coaching, and that's what I do a lot of. I help out with in the fall, I'm involved with flag football and soccer. In the winter, this winter I was head coach of the student age team, helped out with one of the adult teams, which actually had Jacob helped coach, right? Weren't you on Troy's team?
Yeah, I was.
Coach Troy's team.
Yeah.
And then I helped out with swimming. And then this spring I'm helping out with track and powerlifting, and I'm sure I'll probably coach one of the unified softball teams this summer. And then I also golf with Nathan Schaefer. So most of the sports that these guys do, I'm involved with one way or the other. And I enjoy doing it. They, usually listen to you pretty well. Most of them, not this guy. But
I have the same problem.
But it's a joy to watch them compete and just the satisfaction they get. And I told someone, I said, I get more of a satisfaction when I see them outside of the Special Olympics and they come up and they give you a hug and they say, hi, how are you? And they recognize you and they ask you, how's your day going? Than I do actually coaching them. But I've also coached, at the high school level, seen kids qualify for state wrestling. And to be honest with you, I get more of a satisfaction watching these guys after they score a bucket or they do something great or they win a race or, whatever. And their joy and their excitement for that is much more watching these Special Olympians than it was ever watching a kid qualify for a place at state. Just their joy is so pure and so happy. So,
did you help some people doing the Special Olympics?
Help some people. What do you mean?
Like Troy double team.
Yeah, I help coach his team
Yeah.
for basketball.
Yep. What you do, like communicate what they're doing.
We just kind of work together. I help, coach the team. I ran a couple practices when Troy wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I just kind of fill in and help out. I'm basically an assistant for a lot of them. Track, I do all the coaching for the shot put because none of the other coaches have ever thrown it before. So I've been able to use my knowledge to help that out. But mainly just, kind of being buddies with the athletes, talking to them, teaching them a little bit, and stuff like that. But probably another biggest joys I had with Special Olympics was when we went to summer games last year. I'd heard all these coaches talk about how great it was, how much fun it was. I never experienced it. We get down there, it's hot. I mean, it was in the 90s. The first night, I ended up going back to the hotel early with one of our athletes that unfortunately got overheated because I was just heated and exhausted, and so you saw that. But I was mad because I missed some of the stuff they did. But I'll tell you what, going down there, even though we were in the horseshoe at Ohio State for opening ceremonies, and even a Michigan fan, it was still a great experience to see the athletes and the interaction and all this hoopla that they make for it. I mean, they make as much of an excitement for this as they do the Olympics you see on TV. And it was pretty cool to see the athletes. And it was, like I said, it was hot and it was miserable, but I enjoyed watching these guys compete and the success they had and how excited they got when they got the success. So it was a great experience. And then this year, for the Winter Games, we were actually back in Columbus for the first time in a few years. So we went over, and that was a spend over the night thing for swimming. So we were in the swimming aquatic center on the same weekend as the state wrestling and state archery. So there was just a lot of people, and Columbus was busy and bustling. And it was cool because, I'm going to tell this story. While we were there, this is a shout out to someone in our community, but there was state wrestling going on. And as we were sitting at McDonald's eating for swimming, the Stuckey family drove by, and Brian Stuckey parked his car and came in and dabbed up all the athletes and said, "Good luck to you guys, good luck to you guys." And me knowing that his son was wrestling, I said, "Well, we all say good luck to Carter," and then all the kids said the same thing. So it was kind of cool to see the support, even down in Columbus, from someone from local that came in and did it, and it just it lets you know how loved and beloved these people are, in the community, these athletes.
Does your love for Michigan why the two of you get along so well, Jason?
Oh, yes, we are.
Any other questions you got for Coach Tyson?
Do you like coaching us?
Well, yes, I will. There's times where just because I coach so many sports and we go from one season to the next season to the next season, where I get kind of overwhelmed and like, we're doing this, because we were still finishing up swim practices, and I was already coaching track and powerlifting. So it all kind of runs together. But I think the enjoyment of the unified softball where I get to play and coach, and then we have golfing in the summer where it's not so much coach and you're like I get to golf with Nathan Schaefer. So those are instances where I'm not doing as much coaching, but I'm actually kind of involved in doing it. So that kind of takes away all the time that gets put into it. But like I said, I enjoy the interaction I have with the athletes outside of here. I mean, Jason knows, him and I have hung out a couple times outside of the things where I've taken him to. We've gone to a movie. We've gone to what else? We went to the zoo, didn't we?
Yep.
We've gone
Mexican place, across from the
Mexican
Sky
place.
Cinemas.
Yep, to eat. Didn't we go to No, we haven't gone to any of the games yet, but we did some other stuff where we've hung out and kind of get out, and so it's kind of cool to hang out with these guys outside. I went over to Nathan Schaefer's house the other night to kind of just spend some time with him because he's been going through a lot with his dad. So I went over there and hung out with him. So not only do I have a coach player athlete with these, or player relationship with these guys, I also kind of got a friendship with a lot of them. Like I said, I graduated with Nick Dent, so him and I have known each other for a long time. I kind of remember Jason from school because he was a little bit ahead of me. And I live across the street from Chad Cootsley, who's involved in a lot of this stuff. So I kind of know these guys more, coach to athlete, but also kind of on a friendship basis. And it's nice it's nice for that.
Anything else, guys?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. All right. Anything else?
Not that I know
All right. So I think that wraps up another episode of TPI and Company. Coach Tyson, is there anything else you want to add?
Well, I just kind of want to say that as much enjoyment as I think these guys get of having me coach them, I get coaching them. This is just a good program, and if anybody wants to help out or donate any money to Legacy Center or Special Olympics, I think it's a good thing to donate to, because these kids put a lot of or these athletes put a lot of time and effort into this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, as Randy can attest, because Randy's watched them play, they really give it their all. They play
No,
hard.
they absolutely do.
And they enjoy it. They have fun. One of the good programs I think we started, and Randy's been involved with it, is the and we talked about it last week, is the Heroes versus Heroes. Watching them associate with the firefighters and the cops and how they react to them, and how it's cool for most of the part. Those guys get the athletes involved and let them play and let them have a good time. And I think that's just good that there's more people in the community that they can look up to and trust. And so I think that's a good program. And I think Celia does a great job with organizing these sports. And there's plenty of activities for these kids to do, like powerlifting is a new sport we brought in this year.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you about powerlifting.
Okay.
So, like you said, powerlifting is, I say, fairly brand new. It is brand new, something that
Right.
Special Olympics hasn't really tried. And you're basically, Celia and you, and I know her husband, Nick, has been involved in
Right.
really building a program from scratch. And what do we need? What are we doing? So talk a little bit about powerlifting and how that's going so far.
So powerlifting, basically, anybody who's ever been involved with it knows that for competition, you do a bench press and a deadlift. And some of our athletes, because we have one that's in a wheelchair, she can only do bench press. So that's what we've been focused on with her. Some of the athletes can do both. Some are better at one than at the other. So I think when we first started, we were I remember Celia and I were on the bus coming home from a basketball game. We were talking about this, and I had asked her who was going to coach it. She said, my husband, he's coached powerlifting at Morenci High School. I said, well, I never competed, but I lifted my whole life. I said, I think I can help out, stuff. And she said, okay. So one night we were talking, and I said, well, have you heard any interest? She's like, well, this person say they're interested. And we had counted maybe 7 or 8 people. Well, the first sign-up sheet comes up, and there's like 17 or 18 people involved in wanting to do this. So we were I think, shocked and happy that many people decided they wanted to do it, because we were a little nervous. And the first practice, some of the athletes were kind of scared because they never lifted weights before. They were afraid you could get hurt. And so we just kind of told them, as long as you guys do stuff the right way, you can, get stronger, you'll get faster, it'll help for all your other sports. Anybody that's ever been an athlete at any level knows that, working out and lifting weights, if you put that effort into it, it's going to benefit you. So we've gotten some equipment that we found for real cheap. We've had some people donate stuff. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the weight room, but it turned out to be pretty nice. It's at the old, what we call the Legacy Center, but it's at the Health and Racquetball Club in one of their rooms that they have. And there was already mirrors in the room, so that's good for, when you're lifting weights, watch yourself lifting in the mirrors. So, there's a couple exercise bikes in there, a couple treadmills. We got 2 squat/bench racks. We got dumbbells, equipment. I mean, it's almost like a small gym, basically, for these athletes to go in there and work out. We've had, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks of practice now, and we just started doing maxes to get those sent into the state. I think the athletes have kind of done pretty good adjusting to it, but it's something new and different, and I like that we're building that program and added to it, and that unified softball is where the athletes play with people from the community. That's something that's that was their second year last year. Yep. So that's something different, and I think the athletes enjoy, some of the people they see at work, but some of them are grandkids of some of those people, or kids of some of those people, or just people that have wanted to sign up and play. And I think that the athletes enjoy playing with these people that, they don't play with all the time. They enjoy playing with their athletes. But the hard part about that is, I remember basketball season, there was a chance where they were going to meet each other in the tournament. And these guys were, we don't want to play each other. We don't want to beat our friends. We don't want to beat our teammates in other sports, So I think the fact that, during unified softball, they're playing against each other, but they got other people that they're playing with and getting to know and associate. And again, that's something that Randy also has, involved with announcing and stuff, and can tell you that it's just so much fun to watch the athletes interact with people in the community or other people that work for TP or other programs. And we have a really good time with it. As much as we compete and try to win, that is the one thing where I think we just it's not about winning or losing. It's about going out there and having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Randy, you can attest to that when you've been there.
Yep,
yeah, we try to win.
Oh, absolutely.
And we get cocky about it. And, my team fortunately has won the tournament 2 years in a row. But that's more about the athletes. I say I only try to win because they want to try to win. So, but we have a good time. We talk smack, and nobody really takes it all super serious. We try, but we're out there having a good time.
That's right.
So,
all right. Anything else for him?
Nope.
Anything else, Jacob?
No, nothing.
All right. I think that wraps up another episode of TPI and Company. So we appreciate everyone sticking around and listening to Coach Tyson talk about all the cool things he gets to do with our Special Olympic guys.
That's right.
So we hope we want everyone to subscribe to our TPI and Company channel. And as Tyson mentioned, we're also looking for people to give, especially to the Legacy Center. We're really trying to build something special out there with our Special Olympic program. So didn't mean to use the word special twice in one sentence, but accidents happen. So you can get a hold of us here at Triangular Processing. If you have want to help in any way or reach out to any of us, we'll be more than happy to get you pointed in the right direction. And we'll talk to you next week.